Hello everyone, David Jamison, Doctor of Natural Medicine here at Blue Lotus Healing Center. And I'm back for part 2. I knew you thought it might be tomorrow, but it's actually going to happen today. Part 2 as to why natural medicine typically fails. And the first one was the practitioner. I talked about how the practitioner steps over the boundary. And I could talk about Western medicine. They step over their boundaries too. They step over the line and think that they can help minor imbalances by obliterating the microbiome of the gut, or giving a adolescent young lady birth control for acne. I mean, they go way overboard. But also, the natural medicine side of things, they should not venture into areas where they shouldn't be either. A natural substance will not override a man-made problem. But the bigger one, or just as big, is the fact that we choose our own healing modalities based on our addictions and cravings. And the example is, and maybe he's watching right now, is a good friend of mine who's been on the Atkins diet for over 30 years. He loves to eat meat and cheese, so he chooses the diet that he likes. Meat and cheese, the Atkins diet. Now, he's been on this for 30 years, and most of the people that I meet that want to be raw vegan, they can't digest the raw vegetables, but they have something set up in their mind where it's either spiritual or good for the earth or animals or something, and they go to the raw, but they're getting sick from it, but they're stuck there. So a lot of times we choose based on our own beliefs or our own conditioning or our own programming how we're going to administer our own healing. Another thing that we do is we don't look at the whole pie. So a lot of people will get crystals and they'll go to drum circles and they'll meditate, but they'll smoke cigarettes and eat pizza every day. So they look at their health and they look at their spirituality and their healing, the things they like to do. They like to read the books on the planets. They like to do Jyotish astrology readings and buy crystals and gemstones, but then they eat like crap and they remain sick. So number 2 as to why holistic medicine typically fails is you got to look at the whole pie. And like I mentioned, for those of you that have been in my clinic, everyone I tell them, you need to go get checked by a chiropractor. Because if we're working with opening channels and setting up a healing environment, I need to know if there's something going on. There's a blockage. There could be a blockage somewhere that's keeping the person from healing. And by getting a chiropractic adjustment regularly, at least we know everything's open. And like I went over one time, subluxation, they treat subluxation. Subluxation basically means the lack of light. And what is light? Light is intelligence. So an adjustment from a chiropractor will bring in that healing intelligence. Eating the proper food, going to bed, that's another thing. Oh, I'm a vegetarian, I use essential oils, I meditate, but I'm a night owl. So then they say, it's okay, that's just the way I've always been. But then I read their pulse or I check them over and they have issues with their kidneys and their adrenals. So by staying up, you're going against the natural rhythm, the circadian rhythm, the way our organs work throughout each 12-hour period and a 24-hour period. Our organs either relax or detox. So if you're awake while you're supposed to be sleeping, the organs don't function correctly. So going back to the whole pie, there's daily lifestyle, daily habits, diet. It's called dinacharya. The Sanskrit word is dinacharya. Proper dinacharya based on the doshic function of that person. Like example with me, I'm more pitta nature. And pitta time during the day is the height of the day, 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. when the sun is at the highest. When it's at its height is pitta time. That's the best time. You've got to get out of the sun during that time. You want to do sunbathing before 10 a.m. and after 2 p.m. Get out between 10 and 2. But also, if I'm still awake at 10 p.m., there's a good chance I'm going to be up till 2 p.m. or even late, or 2 a.m. or even later because I've been fired up. And another thing, as a pitta person, if I see light, and I drive my family crazy, I can't have lights on at night. If I see light, it activates me. Because light, loshaka pitta, is found in the front of our eyes, and it seeks light. So have you ever noticed when you open your eyes in a pitch dark room, you'll go to light. That's a loshaka pitta picking it up, and it works with it. It tells you, okay, now I'm awake, now I need to function. So as a pitta person, I will get fired up by seeing light in the evening. So each person, if they're predominantly Vata, Pitta, or Kapha, are going to have different times in the days, during the day, when they function better or they feel better. But it doesn't mean it's right. And Vata people typically, when they're more prone to Vata disturbances, I shouldn't say Vata people, when they're more prone to Vata disturbances, they typically like to stay up. They like movement. Vata time is 2 to 6. 2 a.m. till 2 a.m. till 6 a.m. You talk to them, they'll say, oh, that's the time I get the most done and all that. Then I love to crash. I crash and sleep so well early morning. That's Kapha time. So Kapha time is more anabolic and it's slower. So the doshic time movement, the whole pie, going against what we love. And I know that sounds sad, but we can't keep eating the same foods over and over. And I've said this 1,000 times. The most healthy people are the people that don't lock into food. And that means that you ebb and flow with the seasons, with your imbalances, what you need to do in your body. Forget about what this food is. What do you need to accomplish in this microorganism of the macroorganism? If you go against that, you will have imbalances. And as I've said 100 times on these little videos, that the universe works from subtle to gross. And it can be something very, very simple that you love a certain food, keep repeating it. Eventually it's going to manifest into something else. So number 2 is indulging in our addictions and cravings and calling them diets, ignoring the whole pie, going against the things that we need to do and only doing the things that we like to do. And that's why natural medicine fails, which isn't really fair to natural medicine because it's the person. Part 1 was the practitioner. Part 2 is the person. So this is David Jameson, Doctor of Natural Medicine at Blue Lotus Healing Center. Thank you again.